Welcome back. This is part 2 of probably 4, where we take a look at different shoes at the Edward Green Trunk Show at Dashing, Chicago. And with that, here is Sean to talk about these cool Chukka boots.
Yeah, so we're just moving our way down. Banbury, classic Chukka, fully lined. This is actually, this is a lined version. It does come, I'll put it back in camera. It does come as an unlined version. You see a lot popping up, and that's actually a different name, and it's totally escaping my brain right now, and everyone's gonna chime in and make comments on it. But they're, the Shackland, that's what it is the unlined version. This is considered snuff for green. So when you compare it to, actually, that's nutmeg as a comparison. And then when you see tobacco next to it, so that's tobacco, which I thought it was originally, but when you actually get next to it, that's actually snuff, and that's how it looks like it's when it gets stretched.
Yep.
So, when you compare it to a lot of the colors coming out of Alden, and you compare their snuff to this stuff, this is a slightly richer color. That's why it gets leaned on pretty heavily with a lot of different makeups, just because it has a little bit more dimension than the snuff from Alden, which again, is here nor there. A new model that they just launched, I think this past late summer, is the unlined, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, Kale, C-H-A-L-E, 82 last, fully unlined, a little bit of a stiffener in the toe, on the beautiful R1 sole, so super versatile. Unlike some US brands, not naming any names, Green still does love using black. Black calf, black suede, black anything and everything, which I kind of like. A little bit more of an international client is still a big fan of black shoes, especially if you do it in a grain or in a suede. Everyone loves it. The same vibe isn't necessarily always here. To me, it seems like a lot of black leathers are used in heavy boots and stuff like that to kind of give some dimension. But, when it comes to green, they have always leaned heavily on black. I mean, their black Cordovan Galway boot with black London grain, and in this case, a beautiful black suede, which again, kind of ages and patinas out really, really well. It just depends on how you want to go with it.
And I do think the cut of that particular Chukka is really nice as well. It's got that like half moon cut, and it also looks a lot like an eye derby. What some of my viewers have called an eye derby, where it's like a 2-eyelet derby instead of a boot, right? So it has that really common look to it that is uncommon in a Chukka. If you just look at it, the one next to it, the toe profile is completely different up at the top of the vamp, which I think is cool, and is another reason to have both. And you hear a lot of shoe aficionados, we always joke that which one should you get? You should get both. This is a good reason because they really do have a different look to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just really depends. I mean, I have a Banbury in espresso suede. It was an aesthetic both in the suede and in the kind of model that I hadn't worn before. And I actually checked it before the trunk show. It's unfortunately kind of dirty, and that's why I didn't bring it in. But the R1 sole had way more mileage on it than I thought it did, which then reinforced the fact that I obviously, in the early years, a few years ago, wore it quite a bit, and I completely kind of forget about it. So it's one of those things where, it's not that it wasn't memorable, but I just didn't realize how much I was pulling it out of the closet originally, and I was wearing it a lot with jeans and a couple flannel pairs of pants I have. It matches up really well. But again, that kind of espresso is a kind of default dark color, so it kind of goes with a little bit of everything, especially in Chicago.
Yep.
But kind of working down, these are the new leathers that guys who've been perusing the Evergreen website or have had the luck to wander into the store in London have experienced firsthand, and they've been selling them extremely well. Green leaned into kind of a waxed leather. It's the best way to put it. They call it the khaki wax camo, which obviously is not khaki, it's kind of more of a green. Storm wax, which is a beautiful brown, kind of a, maybe kind of closer to espresso brown. And then the iron wax commando, which is a true brown, which is this assortment right here. Put it on some Chukkas, put it on basically a country boot kind of aesthetic. As I've told many other people, I think that's the amazing thing about green. They see a trend, or they can kind of survey the horizon of what's going on in menswear, and they react really quick.
We're back. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but we're gonna just continue here where we left off. Sean?
Yep, so I'm gonna make this kind of fast. At this part, we were kind of just discussing about some of these new wax leathers. Basically, green pivoted fast, saw that, post-pandemic, Everyone's a little bit more casual. They wanted something that was a little bit more weatherproof and a little less maintenance, so to speak. So they came out with these amazing kind of new wax commando leathers. They've been blowing out of the London store. They've been available on the website pretty extensively for a few months, and sizes are super picked over. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of keep developing this line.